Welcome, listeners, to Syncretism. You're with Santos Bonacci, and I have guests Kate on the board. How are you, Kate?
Hey, I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, great. Much better than yesterday, anyway.
So I hear. That's awesome news.
Yeah, and Cindy's with us?
Yeah, Cindy's there, and we just had a caller show up. I don't know if they're going to be wanting to jump in or they're just listening, so we can talk on that a little bit. Let's get this thing rolling. Just finished that little Merry Christmas Ho 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 document that will be going out worldwide right after the show. I just wanted to let you know that, and both you and Cindy got a copy of it, and a handful of others. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Hi, Kate. How you doing? Santo, it's good to hear you feeling better. Good to hear that.
Yeah, thanks. I took your remedy with the coconut oil, and how are you?
I'm excellent. I'm still trying to get my voice back, so you'll have to bear with me today. Just a little groggy in the throat, but other than that, I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
And boy, didn't she do a good job as a host last night, eh? You got dumped in the deep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got dumped in the deep end for about 25 minutes.
Did. I got dumped head first. Kate fell off the board, and there was a few dead spots. I was kind of wondering, gosh, she's awful quiet right now, and but I think it turned out pretty well. Thank you.
Excellent. And thanks for taking that for me, Kate, and I hope the listeners enjoyed it. Of course they would have, and my apologies for not being able to be there, but here I am today. And Kate, I would love nothing better than for you to talk about these documents. I've got something prepared too, so...
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Christmas special today. Today I'm going to explain once and for all, and very, very clearly and succinctly, what Christmas is really all about. So we're gonna do an astronomical star lesson today.
What?
And we're going to do an astronomical star lesson. We're going to learn the stars today. That's what we're going to do. And so how's that sound?
Oh, it sounds like a perfect Christmas present for everybody. You know, a whole lot of truth, and then a whole lot of truth. It works for me. You know,
sounds like a lot of fun too. So
yeah, it is.
Let's go.
We got some interesting news last night after the show, which we will not discuss right now. But I got to tell you, people, Santa Claus is not coming to town. Santa Claus is in town, and there is a lot of stuff coming across the horizon very quickly. We've changed the game, and we've got everyone diligently looking at the pre-sent, i.e. movies and stuff like that, because that's how the game works. It's all a show here, guys. And you got people, instead of looking after the fact, is connect false flag events to things that were in movies. What they're doing now is they're looking at the movies, looking for the false flag attempts, and just to dispel and crush one of them. See, here's the magic of this realm, and it is a magical place. When you see something, and there is a potential of, the Illuminati, or the quote bad guys unquote, must present to everyone what they're going to do, and it's the free will choice of everyone to either ignore it and let it happen, or, like I always say, not on my watch. So anyway, apparently there was something that they we're planning in and around the Phoenix area for tomorrow, December 25th. So, sorry guys, not on my watch. New game.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Not on my watch. I'm not gonna give any energy to that except for protection, and hey, everything's fine.
Yep, we are on constant vigilant alert, and that's one of the things. Hey, so how many times we said this? Okay, you got the day shift, and then as the day shift around, I take over the day shift, right, or others, right? So we plant covered 24 hours a day. Nothing gets by us.
Well, look what happened with the Olympics and all the everything that we saw happen with the construction of the Olympic Stadium and all the ritualistic opening and closing ceremonies. And I think there was so much positive attention focused on it that they couldn't do anything. So basically, if you just raise positive awareness and just send out your love, they're not going to get by with it.
Yeah, one of the clues was in the Olympics, and the mention of a Black Christmas. Oh, sorry, not this year, guys.
No.
You know, and here's the thing, and this is the as above, so below mirror. This will be the first Christmas I get to spend without any family members anywhere near me, and as a net result, I get to have the entire planet with me.
Yeah.
So this is my gift to all, and it feels kind of good being Santa Claus to everybody. And that's exactly, I know you, Cindy, and I know Santo and Tony and Miranda and so many others. I know where their intentions and where our intentions have always been, and it has been to the benefit of all. And that has come sharper and sharper into focus over the last year or so. And the things that we do for all are things that we do for ourselves. And what's happened, I think, with a lot of people now, what I'm observing, is people are getting into that headspace of the service to others with the knowledge of when you're serving others, you're serving yourself, you silly people, right? And it has started to really mirror. And can't say as I have experienced any of the mall freaks or whatever, because this year, the only thing I'm giving out is light, love, and truth. There is nothing materialistic about this. This is completely spiritual, and this will be the first one in my life. So anyway, I've got this neat little document that is getting posted on my blog page, loveovermind.wordpress.com. So everyone will be able to see it, and also the birth certificates, the scans of them, the proof, the fraud and the proof of the fraud. So without further ado, Santo, shall I?
Please.
Okay, here we go. Ready for Jingle Bells Run? Here we are. This is the invocation of Clausula Rebus Sextantibus, rid of covenant, rid of deceit, rid of inquiry. Whereas the fundamental change of circumstances is now pre-sent in pure speech in the role of liberal constructionist, Beetlejuice, it is my desirous, willful wish to settle this matter, fiat justitia ruat caelum, denec ultimatum revirio vero. A fraud revealed is null and void, nunc pro tunc ab initio ad infinitum. Whereas my star contract, long-form birth certificate, is in custody with the Registrar General and given under seal of the General Register Office, Belfast, Northern Ireland, as claimed on the certified copy, my original copy has not been deposited in a lawful repository, namely the King's Exchequer at Westminster, as commanded by Richard I. It is my rightful duty to inform all parties, pirates, who have laid fraudulent claim to my stock, as per Black's Law, 9th edition, West, stock, noun, 14th century. 1. The original progenitor of a family, a person from whom a family is descended, where inasmuch subrogation is present. I am the stock of my mother, father, self-evident in the blood ether, in my lineage veins, mitochondrial DNA, delta 9 Lucifer, delta 10 mDNA, from my mother, which is prima facie evidence of my bloodline, RHA positive, where my father is the beneficiary of any all ascendants born to him. The father, semen, of any all born to him render him the beneficiary only, whereas the mother is fiduciary. Note, Ward of Admiralty, a seaman, so called because of the legal view that a seaman in contractual matters should be treated as the beneficiary and the other contracting party as a fiduciary because of the perceived inequitability of their bargaining positions. Whereas the surname is assumed automatic at birth, inasmuch as my mother adopted my father's surname upon marriage, my living blood was kidnapped by cesarean, and I was taken from my natural jurisdiction to be willfully enslaved into another, legal, corporate, dead jurisdiction against my free will choice, jus praesens. Via deceptios, via wrongful assumption. Whereas a mistaken assumption has been made that I am assumed in some way to be related to the crown, I attest this to be untrue, where the blood in my veins is mine, self-evident as living ether, without which I would cease to be, given to me from my mother, father. My father is a beneficiary of me, and my mother is fiduciary, where I am not the beneficiary fiduciary to them, nor do I claim any of their inheritance, where I am their inheritance, to which they are my heir, not the other way around. Based on this deceptios, my mother's, father's inheritance as beneficiary fiduciary was stolen by those unlawfully claiming my mother's, father's creation via deceptios. Furthermore, I lay no claim to my father's estate, where I may be mistakenly assumed to be beneficiary to any all title, names, surnames, debts, liability at all, etc., where I hereby invoke beneficium abstinende ab initio ad infinitum nunc pro tunc. Note, beneficium, a privilege, remedy, or benefit granted by law, such as the beneficium abstinendi, privilege of abstaining by which an heir could refuse to accept an inheritance, and thereby avoid the accompanying debt. Beneficium abstinendi, privilege of abstaining, right of an heir to refuse an inheritance and thus avoid liability for the testator's debts. Furthermore, my father's estate, beneficiary status, as well as my mother's fiduciary status, has been fully stolen via deceptios by any all parties, pirates, by any all use of my private name and birth vinta star date given to me, removed by way of kidnapping, shanghaiing me from natural jurisdiction, where the creation of the short form birth certificate is prima facie evidence of this private to public fraud absolute, where my long form birth certificate continues to remain unlawful until it is placed in a lawful repository. Any all use of this name in the public will be fraud ab initio ad infinitum nunc pro tunc until lawfully deposited. The DTC at 55 Water Street is not a lawful repository, but is rather a customs bonding warehouse where the true customs have been subrogated. Wade hearing, 1969. This is all from Black's Law, by the way. Criminal law, a pretrial hearing in which the defendant contests the validity of his or her out-of-court identification. If the court finds that the identification was tainted by unconstitutional methods, the prosecution cannot use the identification and must link the defendant to the crime by other means. United States v. Wade, 388, U.S. 218, circa 1926. Subnote, star, from Latin starum, Hebrew shitar, a writing covenant. Historically, a Jewish contract, especially for release of an obligation, that Richard I declared to be invalid unless it was placed in a lawful repository, the largest being in the King's Exchequer at Westminster, also termed stara. It is well known that before the banishment of the Jews under Edward I, their contracts and obligations were denominated in our ancient records, stara or stars, from the corruption of the Hebrew word sheheh, a covenant. These stars, by ordinance of Richard I, were commanded to be enrolled and deposited in chests under 3 keys in certain places, one and the most considerable of which was in the King's Exchequer at Westminster. The Exchequer, where the chests containing these stars were kept, was probably called the Star Chamber, and when the Jews were expelled from the kingdom, was applied to the use of the King's Council when sitting in their judicial capacity. From William Blackstone, Commentaries on the Laws of England, page 263, 1769. In summary, the ruse perpetuated on myself and mankind is exposed for the mistake it is. Pure fraud ab initio ad infinitum nunc pro tunc, where it is now incumbent upon those responsible, able, for this fraud to emendatio all mistakes created via this fraud, lest this mistake continue. All evidence has been collected where it is now pre-sent for you, such as my living blood ether, which is prima facie proof of stock, as well as the long form, as yet unlawful, connected to short form, proof of public fraud in my physical presence. By commission or omission of any all crimes, one is guilty where the crime is brought to view for all to see. Emendatio, the power of amending and correcting abuses according to certain rules and measures. In conclusion, much knowing has been revealed to me in my own Genesis to Revelation. It is my desirous, willful wish for you to investigate the following. My original source contract is not deposited in a lawful repository. I have attached a photocopy scanned containing my receipt, BC short form, so you may further investigate and inspect the following. The Terra Cross, CRSS, dotted line covenant on the original source contract covenant, which is the date 19 with 12 dots, rendering private. My original source contract shows the birth date, star date, was never corporate jurisdiction, dotted line passed through to private, and was never meant or intended to be made public, short form fraud, where this private matter is concerned, where my mother, father were removed from the short form, creating an abomination, dead corporate fiction. Therefore, United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Crown Corporation, etc., et al., and later Canada, Ontario, falsely laid claims to being related or joined to the estate, myself, disposing the need for testative capacity, creating a situation where they would be and are benefiting from unjust enrichment via theft. The United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, Crown Corporation, etc., et al., and later Canada, Ontario, are with unclean hands using false documents, moved me, kidnapped me as a child into a different unnatural jurisdiction, forcing me to pay their taxes, tariffs, plus levies, etc. at all, creating much hardship for myself and all in my life, while another parties are benefiting from unjust enrichment due to this creation of literal slavery with the kidnapping of me from my mother father on June 18, 1964, 3 days after the prima facie evidence of my blood was already proved. The United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Crown Corporation, etc. at all, and later Canada, Ontario, denied my easement on the land. The United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Crown Corporation, etc. et al., and later Canada, Ontario, removed my guest status, not allowing me to seek damages. The United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, later Canada, Ontario, falsely labeled the estate, creating a trademark, shanghaiing me into using it for identification, defrauding me and the laws and customs, forcing me to trade while benefiting from unjust enrichment. I am submitting to your department a photocopy of the birth certificate, both forms, to be used only for your inspection in this matter. Should you require the original copy, please contact me. My signet, it's Kate Renee, and my cell phone number is there. Clausula rebus sextantibus, CRSS, the cross to bear. A treaty provision stating that the treaty is binding only as long as the circumstances in existence when the treaty was signed remain substantially the same. Therefore, every contract created with their trademark is fraudulent. Ab initio ad infinitum nunc pro tunc. I accept the full character of creator, creditor domini, entirely, toto generi. My willful intent is peaceful. It is my wish for my guest status to be returned. It is my wish to receive your assistance in getting full restitution. Excuse me, emendatio. That's the long and short of it. Thank you. All references of law are from the Black's Law 9th edition, where many and further proofs are an addendum to this invocational writ. And I have a whole list of about 30 or 40 references from Black's Law. So if there's any questions, there is a couple that I did want to share with you guys that I haven't shared yet, just to define what unclean hand is. Oh, here we go. Clean Hands Doctrine, 1914. The principle that a party cannot seek equitable relief or assert an equitable defense if that party has violated an equitable principle, such as good faith. Such a party is described as having unclean hands. For example, Section 8 of the Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction Act contains an unclean hands provision that forbids a court from exercising jurisdiction in a child custody suit in certain situations, as when one party has wrongfully removed a child from another state, has improperly retained custody of a child after visitation, or has wrongfully removed a child from the person with custody. The Clean Hands Doctrine evolved from the discretionary nature of the equitable relief in English courts of equity, such as Chancery, also termed Unclean Hands Doctrine. And just so people know what Clausula rebus sextantibus, that's the cross to lay bare, is this. A treaty provision stating that the treaty is binding only as long as the circumstances in existence when the treaty was signed remain substantially the same. 2. A doctrine by which the law supplies such a provision to a treaty that does not expressly contain 1 rebus sextantibus. The doctrine may be invoked when a fundamental change in circumstances, 1, alters the essential basis for the parties' consent to be bound by the treaty, and 2, radically transforms the extent of the parties' performances under the treaty. But the doctrine does not apply to treaties establishing geographic boundaries, Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, Article 62, blah, 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 often shortened to clausa, also termed Clausula rebus sextantibus. Interesting stuff, hey?
Wow, we've arrived.
Yeah, it's kind of there. There's a whole list of things you'll enjoy. I would implore that anyone that receives this, it's going, like I said, it's going online, so you can see all the pertinent information.
Yes, I saw a couple comments on the posts yesterday for the show. People were asking on Santos' page where could they get a copy of what you wrote. So I will pop in there with your link after you make it available. There's people that are very interested in waiting to read the final product.
Merry Christmas. It's available. Send it far and wide. Do what you want with it. It's
Will
yours.
do. Mm-hmm.
It's not mine anymore. I just read it out. It's yours now.
That's how the universe thinks things to be, and we create them through this process of thought and through this process of awakening and consciousness. We've arrived. We've arrived at a very crucial moment. I really hope the listeners appreciate that this is a big, big, important historical document. This is a very important... This will end the reign of terror, because they have manipulated a system and they consider it to be an honour, but they are dishonourable. The bar are complicit and they run the system. They have been operating a reign of terror against us by the presumption that they own our souls and can manage our souls in this business that the Vatican runs. And the Jesuits.
Well, the bottom line on this, Santo, and this is a very clean-cut, very simple thing. All the contracts that were offered in Deceptios were not offered in good faith. And a contract is binding if offered in good faith. And there was no good faith there. There was the hope that people would just kind of go to sleep and glaze over it and thus become an effect to something. And that, as Tony likes to put it, and I totally agree with it, it likes to alleviate their karmic responsibility. Unfortunately, though, there are some of us that are awake and have decided that, sorry, you're not getting off the hook on this one, guys. Golden rule. That which you do unto others is your mirror. And it will come back. That's why I only promote love. Kind of tired of the other stuff now.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Absolutely wonderful.
I did want to mention this. These are little things that have been going through my mind. Right here we are at the end of the 3 days of darkness. We're in the tomb, right? And you are going to give a beautiful Christmas gift of the astronomical nature of this. But we've been in the tomb 3 days, and this is where the dark likes to operate, because it's the darkest. This is when the sun is in the tomb. You'll be born again. And tomorrow, well, actually, for you, Santo, it already is tomorrow, but in 4.5 hours from now, it will be, quote, the sun is born again in 4.5 hours. So we are now moving into the new age. And I wanted to make sure that I've spent 3 days in this tomb shining as much light as I can, because I know they like to use this time, look at the Fed Reserve Act, look at all the crap they put out in 1913, and it was done around in the 3 days of darkness. So, no more. This Gemini little bitch just shone some light on them.
Yeah, and I've got some beauties too, Kate. I've busted the churches out there, man. Today, they're busted. They are busted big time. And they have no right to continue their pedophilia incorporated. They're busted. They're a bunch of pedophiles. It's the only haven left on the planet, in fact, in the universe, where pedophiles can go and lust in their evil deeds and rape little children at will and kill them and murder them, as Kevin Annett has exposed wonderfully. And I'm going to bust them even more, man. They're gone. They have no more ability to operate their satanic, perverted mind control on the sheeple anymore. They're busted. They're going to have to shut up doors with this one. It's over. It's absolutely over for them. Pedophilia is over. We're going to shut the Christian churches down, the so-called Christian churches, and the Christianity that I'm teaching will prosper forever, because it's the science of light, and that's all it is. The scriptures are pure scientific documents based on the science of light. Because guess who is the star of the show that is in fact light? God. God is light. And what they're doing is they've turned God into darkness. They've made an idol, many idols in fact, and they make people and force people to bow down to it. They conscript people to bow down to their images. And they're a bunch of Satanists, and they're busted. And they pretend to be Christians, man. The churches are the foremost putrid, filthy, vile, pedophilia-ridden corpses corporations, man, and they're doing business with dumb people. And the dumb has been in the majority for a couple of thousand years now, and they've taken advantage of that and harvested them like vampires. But now the conscious ones are in the majority, and it's over for them. And we will save our unconscious brothers who are still caught in the fictions, the ones that are yuppies and, keeping up with the Joneses and buying into this corporate filth and turning on the corporate media, Fox. Why would you listen to any of those shitheads? Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and those traitors to humanity. Why would you even do that? That's a Jesuit institution, man. They're run by evil Jesuits. I mean, and look, and evil is still part of... Unfortunately, we should not be buying into evil. People, there is no such thing in the unity universe, one verse, one song that we live in. And we've got to stop buying into it. And they are there because we are still dealing in this dualistic plane, unfortunately. But that's over too. No more division. This document busts it. Clearly. It's history.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's all about the timing, because it was this time last year, ironically enough, that I just finished writing the Denica Ultimatum, so I'm just following the Zodiac as best I can.
Oh, and I didn't really tidy up that comment. I meant to say that the churches have been busted because clearly they are still the only place in the universe where pedophiles can go and do their deeds and not be punishable by the law. But that's changing. I heard some good news by Kevin Annett yesterday. Did you see his recent offering? Beautiful.
Yes, I saw it. It's beautiful. My hat's off to Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. He's busting them in a big way. And he's going after, he's naming Jesuits. He's naming the Pope, the Queen. This guy's not scared.
No.
There's no fear in this, because this is light. We're dealing in the science of light, exposing the darkness so the darkness can come to the light, because it has to. Because it is nothing undeveloped good. And we're buying into it, and they've bewitched us into buying into it so that they can get away with doing more of it. That's how they do it. They tell you, buy into fear. There's black people, there's white people, there's white collar and blue collar, and there's Jews and Moors. Let's divide us all, divide and conquer. And we've got to stop buying into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing. They're fiction. Stop, turn off Fox, turn it off CNN. These are poisonous, run by some really, really low vibrating people that we need to pour light on them to save them.
I couldn't agree more. I'm just sitting here, sitting back, going, "Okay, Santo, unload." Enjoying this.
Just wait until I bust this one. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm sitting here with bated breath. And
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hit us, baby.
Yeah. You won't get any better syncretism, because when you have arrived at the unity place, where there is only one thing, and you realize that we are all in the one mind of God knowing, the Creator, and we're it. And when you discover this, then your life is syncretic. It's syncretism. It's unity. And the division goes away. And like what happened to the Apostle Paul, or when he was Saul and became Paul, you see, this is all part of the alchemical awakening of the consciousness. You lose the soul and you become the pole, Apollo, the sun, illuminated. Saul is related to Satan and the darkness. And so what happened to him was the scales were removed from his eyes, you see, and he could see then. And this is what it means. And this is the true awakening that the churchgoers are really missing out on. They denied this one. You know, they talk about, oh, you've got to be born again. Oh, there's a guy out on YouTube who's debunking Mr. Astrotheology. I'm on the debunk Mr. Astrotheology, and he's got this graph, right? And Mr. Astrotheology's got this graph, and I've got a better graph. And he does this scribble, and he goes, this is. See, my graph has got an extra curve. Santos is just like this. It's wrong, and mine's a better graph. There you go. I've debunked him, and that's it.
You must have a shiny badge too.
Yeah.
Look at my shiny badge.
Yeah. They're afraid of the light, these weasels. They're like little rodents and rats that hide in the dark, scorpions that hide under crags to bite passerbys as they go by. And they're denying salvation into consciousness. And wakey, they don't get it. And they're never going to get it while they're in churches. But they talk about being born again. What they're being born again into is a psychic manipulation. A psychic manipulation. It's mind control. The churches are full of mind control. And this is the true theology that I'm going to share today. And I'm going to start with the story of Christmas and explain what it is. And then I'm going to show you how you can find the Tetragrammaton, the name of God, in the skies. Okay? Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Jehovah. And we're going to just have an astronomical lesson here, folks. Just all you got to do is look up, grab your iPhones and grab a Skywatch application. They're free. There's many of them, free ones.
I love it.
And
I absolutely love it. The Google Sky.
No, go. Keep going, yeah.
Oh, no. I have the Google Sky on my phone, and that's also how I follow the moon and what sign it's in. You know, they've got all those websites out there that, and I find that some of them are differ in the dates. They don't all match. So just to be sure, I pick up my phone and go to Google Sky, and I look to see what sign the moon's in, and that's pretty much how I track it now. But just being able to walk out in the middle of the night, and I'm not as advanced as you, Santo, but I'm getting better at spotting what's what. And my goodness, talk about beautiful and educational. You know, it's a very educational tool to have.
Yeah, go out. And by the way, just a reminder, go out tonight, folks. It's Christmas Eve, and look at the conjunction. Conjunction means marriage, you know, conjugate, conjugal, a relationship. Tonight there's going to be some sex in the skies, okay? Jupiter, the moon will be on top of each other. Now, Zeus, you know, he likes the women, he likes the girls, and he loves Diana, Artemis, when she comes around for a visit. And they are conjugating in the skies, right, for the Christmas of 2012, when the new world of light will begin. So what they're doing is they're making babies, spiritual babies, and it's going to be a beautiful conjunction. And it's very significant that Zeus will be having sex with Diana, one of his favorites, tonight. So go out, don't miss it. And you're right. Yeah, that great comment there about your iPhones. If you get it tonight, you will be able to see the name of God in the skies. And this is what the priests won't do. Yeah, they're too busy raping boys, little boys. And they've forgotten this science, but they call themselves pastors, you know, the teachers of the Astors, you know, ministers, the moon stars, the deacons, the cardinals, the cardinal cross in the sky, which I will also talk about tonight. These are wolves in sheep's coverings. They don't teach any truth. They hide the truth and manipulate people and perpetrate fear. And in so doing, they force their adherents and dupes into bowing down to vile images, idols. And the scriptures warn that when you go down into incarnation, beware of the priest and the salesman on every corner. Don't be seduced by them and commit idolatry. Remember that you are God. Do not forget your citizenship in the heavens. And they give you a name down here, and they cause you to bow down to that name and pay homage to that name when they drag you into their satanic courts. The bar is Satan the devil, and all attorneys and lawyers out there and barristers belong to the organisation of Satan. And they're killers. They kill souls in their courts. How many young boys are in jail doing time, being raped in jail, because they decided that they wanted to use God's plant, cannabis? And their lives are being destroyed and they're committing suicide in our jails. The bar put them there. People, we've got to go after the bar and close them down. And the Jesuits, haven't they been kicked out of enough countries in the past to prove that this club of Loyola, of Satanists and boy rapers, the Jesuits, haven't we had enough evidence of their crimes and their killing and their murdering of us? And they're destroying the true Christian science, which I'm going to share with you today. Haven't we had enough? Well, yes, we have. The days of darkness are over. And the days of darkness shall be enough to, expose the rats so that they shall disappear and jump off their sinking ship.
I couldn't agree more, Santo. And this is, you're bringing up so many poignant pieces of information for people. Once they get out of the religiocosis, fear porn mindset, where, for most people, they're not even aware that hell was a creation by the church in order to create fear in death, which there is none. You're infinite. Once you actually grasp this notion, you become the invincible God again. And I got to tell you, the power that you wield in that energy in this movie. This is a set. This is a movie scene that we're all playing a part in, and it's time to rewrite the script. And that's why what I am sharing as well for people is to let everyone know that everything around you is past. Everything you think you're seeing right now is past. That's not the now moment. The now moment comes in the present, and what you pre-send yourself. That's why they like using movies. Good example is Lionsgate Pictures present. Okay, well, what did you presend me? What do I need to look at to find my breadcrumbs on my Hansel and Gretel trail? I mean, even the story of Hansel and Gretel, when you stop and look at it, I mean, this information, guys, what I just read is all coming from present information that I found in, movies, cartoons, and literally just followed my nose. Nose, by the way, your nose, Gnostic trills, is connected directly to your heart. That's why they say follow your heart, and Toucan Sam said follow your nose in the commercials. So it's out there. All the clues are there, if you can see them. You have to have eyes to see and ears to hear. And what they've done the best job on is creating doubt that somehow you must be crazy, that somehow this can't be real, that somehow it's cool to be ignorant. And that's what they've done. They've made being stupid, ignorant, abusive, and downright arrogant and whatever negative emotion, they've made that cool. And you bought into it, so time to stop buying into it. That's just my point on it.
Yeah, and it's easy to bust their lies, because light is knowing, and we know the truth. Everything we have said so far will resonate with truth seekers. Truth seekers and knowers who have arrived at the higher mind and consciousness and woken up resonate with everything we've just said and will continue to say. And unfortunately, 2 hours is not enough for what I need to do to bust the churches properly. But what I will present today is enough. You can take it to any court, you can take it to any justice system of the universe, and this will be true. This will be absolutely true. And this is what they're hiding, so that you, in the churches, so that you do not know who you are. Christmas is all about this. When you go out tonight, at midnight, Christmas Eve, you will see, directly above your head, you will see Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. She is in a system with our sun. She is known to be the mother, Isis, of our son, Jesus. It's a big spiritual family that we belong to. Alcyone of the Pleiades is there. That's why in Job, the book of Job 38:32, God says to Job, do you know the Mazzaroth? You're going to want to know your Mazzaroth, dude. Because if you don't know your Mazzaroth, you're going to be dumb. So God was reminding Job, get to know your Mazzaroth. Get to know the zodiac. Get to know the signs up above. And it will expand your consciousness. You won't have terrestrial consciousness which is animalistic. For the body and the flesh is animal. But the spirit, the cause, the stillness, which is the light of God that dwells in each one of us, is our spiritual nature. And this is the nature that we awaken to and cease operating the works of the flesh, which are wars. Look around, there's plenty of them, and plenty of people participating in them. There's killers out there too. I mean, we know now that there were 2 or more gunmen at the recent carnage in Newtown, Connecticut. We know that there were 2, and we know Mossad was behind it. We've busted the Zionists and Mossad. They're killers. That's what they do. They kill. And Roger Waters gave a beautiful speech at the UN recently denouncing Zionism and the corporate United States founded in 1881 by the Jesuits, who came to steal the land off the true owners. Well, they did that with Columbus anyway. They raped and destroyed the land and stole it off the Hopis and the Navajo and the Mohawks and the Sioux Indians, and man, I could go on and on. We know the tribes that they stole the land off. But what they did was they destroyed the Republic in that day, in 1881, and people are bowing down to this corporation, the United States. It's one of the biggest idols kicking around today, run by a buffoon called Barack Obama, an absolute sorcerer. And we've got to shed some light on these brothers of ours and save them. He needs saving. He needs saving from his idolatry and running a corporation which is nothing other than a military-industrial complex. Anyway, I've diverted a bit. When you go up...
I was going to ask you there, Sandra, just a little quick input here. Might as well start sharing the victories just to show people what thought really does. I just got a Skype from a friend who was actually in jail. Greetings, Kate. This is blank. I bailed out. Yay! Would love to talk to you when you're available. Thanks for all your help to blank and I. I'm ready to open to learn the latest. Blessings to you. We win, I told you. It begins. That only took, 10 minutes? That's pretty good.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow.
And they just got the document. So, oh, by the way, I'm while you're chatting away there, Santo, I am posting this on my Facebook page. It takes a second to load up. It's a fairly sizable document. But you can request me at kate.rene.5. That's KATE.RENE.5. And it will be there that you can copy and paste. And remember, anytime you paste something onto a document, make it center justified. Left is statute. You got to be dead center on this, guys. All right. So anyway, carry on. Sorry, Santo. I just wanted to share that. I just love victory.
Can you repeat that last bit because I missed that? I just missed the meaning of it.
I just heard from, like I said, I heard from a friend and some people I've been working with for the last, I guess, about 3 weeks or a month, whatever. And long story short, again, another railroading situation, but he just got out. And now he has sitting waiting in his Skype box a Clausula Rebus Sextantibus final copy, so he can really take it home.
Yeah. And what was your reminder at the end of that last comment to the listeners to get it right? To get what right?
Center justifying. Anytime you're writing a document, center justify it. It has to go right down the middle. You have to be in balance. That's the Baal lance, the spear of destiny.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Excellent, yes.
I'm just reveling in this wisdom, Kate. Wow. And you've been working with a team on this, haven't you?
That's all I do. You know that. I've finally got to understanding, and I'm hoping that I can spend a lot of time teaching the green language so people can see the most beautiful, magical, wondrous, mystical world around them, and give them the empowerment to understand and to see what's really going on. And it's beautiful. It really is. And I got to tell you, I don't feel so lonely here anymore. This is probably the first time in my life I don't feel lonely knowing what I know.
Mm. Are you able to share with the listeners who has been working on this and how it came to be, just quickly? Is that all?
Yeah. There's a small team of us, and again, I have my path, and they all have theirs. And what we've been doing is finding, you're part of it too, Santos, Cindy, everyone that I've been talking to over the last, life, factor into this, because it's a net result of all my experiences, because everything that I have ever interwoven with is part of what I am in the present now, you know. So key group of people, got Zoe and Duke and Miranda, yourself, Tony, Cindy, Jerry, Terry. It's a sizable list, but these are all people that are actually in the present now, that they get it and they see that there are no coincidences. I'll give you an example of no coincidences. You know, my Skype tag is Cygnus Trumpets, right? And Cygnus, of course, is the swan. So I ordered my birth certificate as a short form. I needed proof of the fraud, right? So isn't it interesting that where it came from is this. It came from the Swan Business Center, 4 Higher Swan Lane. And, of course, one of my friends lives in Bolton, Ontario, and this came from Bolton, England.
Amazing.
How's this? BL3, right? Postal code? You know what L is. B, the spirit, power of spirit. 3, Trinity, himself, herself, itself, the say of the matter. And 3 AQ, I can have some fun with that. Looks like creation has been appeared.
3, the Trinity ascends quantum. That's what AQ.
Yes, and another thing that I came up with too is the group, and I had a dream the other night with that had 3 dogs in it, which was kind of interesting. And then it clicked with me today. I guess I'm going to have a look at some 3 Dog Night music videos.
Good one.
Cool, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are no coincidences, is what I'm saying. If you follow your breadcrumbs, you'll find your way home. The treasure hunt is to find you. And they've been keeping you so distracted in their little movie, their pre-sent scripts called movies, and false flag events like Sandy Hook and Aurora and 9/11. These are all false flags, guys. It's literally a show. And what they're trying to do is to convince you that somehow it's real, and they create the script, and unfortunately most people, not so much now, but before, most people fell for it and thought somehow that it must be real, where in fact it's just a movie, it's just a ride. And Bill Hicks said it, you can get off the ride anytime you like, and really it boils down to one choice, the choice between love and fear. It's that simple. Lose the fear, get in gear, become the dove, just be love. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, lose the fear. It doesn't serve anymore. It took me years to get rid of the guilt because of my education under the mind-washing Rockefeller-funded organization that I belong to, the Jehovah's Witness Society. It took me years, and it was only light and knowing that dissipated the guilt and the fear. And now I am in the kingdom of light because I accept all truth and light and knowing, and I'm not afraid to know the truth. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Walter Russell was a genius, and I have read this on Blog Talk, but I want to read this passage again before I continue on with the Christmas story. He said, "Man," this is in The Secret of Light, page 206, "man is aware of himself as an individual, but his concept of what constitutes his individuality is vague. His individuality is what he unknowingly interprets his immortal self to be. His self, or soul, never changes, never appears or disappears, but his individuality constantly changes to forever fit the changing concept of what he interprets his immortal self to be. As every man gradually comes to know the light of his self in him, his individuality changes by the constant uplift toward that increasing awareness of his centering omniscience. As greater awareness of the light of the universal self comes to man, he gradually loses his individuality and becomes more that universal self. When mankind has become fully aware of God in him, the play of man on this planet is finished, his purpose fulfilled, and the individual man ceases to be. Man loses his expression of life in matter to find eternal life in the light. There is no death. They've sold us the concept of death, and that is the greatest tool that they've got. And we have to lose that. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. We are immortal. There is only immortality in the God that dwells in us, as Walter Russell explains, the scientist, the great scientist. So anyway, back to Lady Sirius in the skies that the Egyptians adored. And of course I was saying that we're in a system, a beautiful spiritual star system of higher angelic and archangelic beings that the stars are, and in particular the Pleiades. The Pleiades are made up of Alcyone at the top, and then I think in this order, Merope, Maya, that the Maya that the Mayans in Mexico claim to have come from, the third star in the Pleiades. Then there is Electra, Taygeta, one other if you can help me, guys. Anyway, the last one is Atlas. And then Sirius and our sun belong to this system. And it's a beautiful system. And we've just crossed, 3 days ago, we just crossed that galactic plane. So it was really one of the system's birthdays. In fact, the birthday of the universe that we just passed. And we are definitely beyond that world of duality. And in particular, the veil from that world is going to lift off the eyes of mankind. And everyone is invited to participate in this great awakening. But there are a lot of ignorant people. And it appears that they do not want to have a part of it. So, punishments are coming. In one form or another, there's going to be a spanking of their bottoms. And they're going to have to wake up sooner or later. Sooner would be better. But, so when you look up to Sirius, tonight, you will see that it's directly above you, as it's supposed to, because the three wise men right next door to Sirius, in Orion, the belt of Orion, which are pointing to Sirius, are the three wise men that come from the east to follow the star that came from the east and which is hovering directly above where the Messiah, the Christ, is to be born on Christmas Eve. So let's discover the story, shall we, and see how the ancients produced the story, or knew the story rather, because this is universal mind thinking. You don't invent this stuff, it's there. Before I go any further though, I have to explain something. Sirius will not be directly above your head. It will be about 30 degrees off, because she has slipped. All the stars have slipped. In the scriptures it talks about the stars that have trespassed and have gone beyond their decree or the law of God, and they've trespassed. It's talking about procession. It's not talking about anything else, but the stars in the scriptures, procession is called, it's an act of trespassing. It's transgressing the law of God, because they slip out of position. And the true position is when the sun is in the sign of Aries. Now, 4,000 years ago to 2,000 years ago, the sun was in Aries. And for the last 2,000 years, the sun has been transiting Pisces. But when the sun is in Aries, let's go back, shall we? Let's go back about 3,000 years ago, right in the middle of this period. Well, then, the inhabitants of this planet would have lived under the stars that were perfectly in alignment with the system, as it should be. Because then the sun is in Aries. It's transiting Aries, and that's where it's supposed to be, because the equinox is there and begins there. And the whole system locks into place. From that system 2,000 years ago, on Christmas Eve, this is what any conscious human being that knew their science would go out at midnight on Christmas Eve, and this is what they would know. They would look straight up above their heads, and there was the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, perfectly. Not as it is today, about 30 degrees off. And then they would look to the east, and they would see the constellation of Virgo on the ascendant, rising. And then they would look to the west, and they would see the Lamb of God, Aries, descending and going down. And the Lamb of God is the son of Sirius, or Isis, or Mary, the mother, the virgin mother of Christ that is born on Christmas Eve. But this is the Christ that is born on Christmas Eve. Every year, the sun appears to go up to the Tropic of Cancer and increase its light at the summer solstice of the 21st of December. And then it stops on the horizon for 3 days, and then on the 25th of December, which corresponds to John the Baptist's birthday, the sun commences to decline, and then the days get shorter and shorter all the way till the 21st of December, the shortest day of the year. And it's dark, and it's wintry, and it's cold, and then the sun stops for 3 days on the horizon, and then lo and behold, at midnight on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, well, if the sun doesn't commence its journey as a little baby, so small and cold and beginning his journey, and his rays are just so little on the horizon because it's winter, and his angle of declination is very low, and so you just hardly see him at the solstice. But then, if you notice, every day he increases his light, and he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you see, that is the Christ that is born on Christmas Day. It's the sun. Because directly below your feet, 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, you knew that that's where the sun would be, at midnight. Because they knew that the earth was a sphere. And they knew that the sun was directly below their feet because the earth was rotating, you see. They knew their science. So Christmas was this celebration of the great knowledge that they had, that they were conscious of the earth rotating daily and orbiting yearly. I won't say orbiting around the sun, because that's been debunked it's been debunked. I've done the subject of the vortex solar system, so I won't go into that today. But they were just showing off their skills. Christmas is all about science. It's about light and about how the skies work around us, which is where God dwells, in the universe, in the heavens. So there is the mother, Isis, of Jesus, our son, and they're opposed to each other perfectly on Christmas Day. And so she's the star that you place on the top of your Christmas tree. Go out and have a look at your Christmas tree, and that star on the top of the Christmas tree, that's Sirius. And the tree underneath is the branch of Jesse in the scriptures. Because what's happening now is as the sun increases its rays, the firs and the branches begin to grow as the sun lengthens, as the sun goes through Lent in February and March, and then then we come into March, and then the sun crosses over the equinox on the 21st of March, and we celebrate the risen Saviour. Because the sun rises now, it has begun to produce longer days and shorter nights on the 21st of March. And that's when Easter is celebrated. The star is in the east, the sun, and so naturally it is this Jesus that is being born on Christmas Day. And Jesus is born of a manger, because directly above you, right next door to Sirius, you'll notice she's poised in between two constellations, Gemini and Cancer. And there she is, and she's magnificent. And just next to her, there's a bunch of stars called the manger. Yeah, directly above your head, on Christmas Day, there's the manger. And guess who the two of the stars, two of the characters in the manger are? Asinellus borealis and Asinellus australis. The southern donkey and the northern donkey. Yeah, the two donkeys that you see in the manger when Jesus is born. And of course, there is the Virgin at the east. Virgo has just arisen. So, and of course, this is the celebration of the most famous kid who ever was born, because a kid is a goat. That's why we call our children kids. Now, be good kids, because we all want them to be like baby Jesus, who's born in Capricorn. Jesus must have been, if he was born on the 25th of December, let's take the historical, fictional church line, Roman invented line. And so Jesus was born on the 25th of December, literally. Well, he was a Capricorn then. And he had a Virgo rising sign. So would that explain why Jesus always looks rather Virgoan and effeminate? Because of the mercurial ruler of Virgo, which does in fact give men an effeminate look. And Gemini. They're rather androgynous signs, the mutable signs, you will notice. But there is many pictures of Jesus, and you can tell by his features that they've depicted him as a Capricorn. Everybody wants to be the famous kid born on the 25th of December. That's the best birthday in the universe. It rocks. Well, Caesar Augustus thought it rocks. He was born on the 23rd of Libra, and yet on his coins, he gives his birthday to be in Capricorn. Because that's the best birthday you want to be. So one of the most famous individuals in history, and many other individuals have done this in history, they've made themselves be born in Capricorn because they all want to be this Messiah and Saviour of the world that's born on the best possible birthday in the year. Because the sun increases its light. We celebrate this. We celebrate.
They intentionally get pregnant at a certain time to be born, have a child in Capricorn. Wow.
Well, not everyone, but they yes. Thomas H. Burgoyne explains that in Egypt, and remember please that he founded the Hermetic Brothers of Luxor 150 years ago or so, and wrote the greatest work you can ever read on this true spiritual enlightening wisdom that came from Egypt in his work called The Light of Egypt, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And they are the books that I say to people you must read before you take your next breath. The most important works that you can read ever, that will expand your consciousness beyond your wildest dreams, and you will know how the universe works. You will understand all things. At least you'll have the keys to. Anyway, but in there he explains, Thomas H. Burgoyne, that what was I talking about? Can you remember the thought before I...
We were talking about how they either intentionally have their children born or take the babies early in Capricorn.
Yes, he says that they would teach there in Luxor that to conjugate or have conjugal relationships in Cancer, to have your child born in Aries, the Lamb of God. Mm-hmm. He said the ideal. Because there, notice that the sun is most virile and electric. And there is where the blossom occurs every year. And Mars, notice the symbol of Mars, the phallic symbol. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and Mars is Moses. And Moses, you see, Moses rules Aries, but he's very martial. And that's why the God of the Old Testament was very martial. I am Jehovah, the God of armies. And he's a scary God, and he fights, because Aries was like that. Empire was conceived and perfected in Aries. The Egyptians, the Babylonians, etc. And the current world empire, Rome, with its Anglo-Saxon two horns. But Mars, you see, Aries, see, Mars killed the bull, the golden calf of Aaron. Now, Aaron is Aldebaran, the eye of the bull. You see, the elder brother Aaron is none other than Aldebaran. And Aaron always officiated at the altar of God. Altar is just another word for Altaurus, the bull. And he officiated with his 7 lights, and that would be the 7 sisters, the Pleiades, that are the
Santos, I wanted to tell you, I put the names, I believe I have the names correct. They're in your chat box if you want to take a look at that. Didn't mean to cut you off. The stars?
I didn't, no. You've got it as Callion. No,
that's off of Wikipedia, so I wasn't, just grabbed the first thing I saw.
Oh, well, that's the one that I missed. Anyway, It's not important. But anyway, Alcyone, Merope, Maya, Electra, Taygeta, Coeli, Atlas, and then our sun and Sirius. in the sign of Aquarius now. No more Piscean influence, and I'll get to that in a minute. This is what they're trying to hide. The reason I'm doing all of this astrotheology, folks, and I know that the most of the listeners will be listening with great pleasure, but for first-time listeners, and for ones that are receiving this information for the first time, and it might be shocking or it might be a bit hard to bear, please persist, because this is the true theology, and this is what the churches are trying to hide. And don't deceive yourself into thinking because you're a Pentecostal or a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon that you're different to the other Christians. You're all the same. You all believe a lie. And I've exposed the lie. Now, I'm not denying that there was a prophet who was of high mind, and very, very high mind. In fact, Walter Russell says that Jesus was an individual who found cosmic consciousness and therefore saved himself and became, by virtue of having saved himself, a saviour. I'm not denying that that Jesus, who becomes a Christ, and which we call erroneously Jesus Christ. That's the Yeshua, and you can have that. And you can have your Muhammads, you can have whoever you want, Buddha, whatever archetype you choose to wish, because it's you in the end anyway. We are all God experiencing itself, herself, himself in our individualities, which we will lose one day and embrace the unity. So you can have that, but I'm exposing the true Jesus. I'm teaching true Christianity. I've been attacked by some types like that dude down south, that redneck who's gone debunk Mr. Astrotheology.
Oh, you do that so well. And so
I love it.
I just want to let you know there are a couple of callers on the line. I haven't screened them. The only reason I don't like screening is because it interrupts with, if they're just listening, it interrupts with their listening. So what I was thinking is if I can take a few seconds here, maybe just check in with them, see if they have any questions or comments.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
going to the longest one first here. Area code 804-798, making your mic hot. So if you're just listening, great. If you have any questions or comments, now is your chance. Area code 804-798.
Yes, good evening. I'm calling from Ashland, Virginia. My name is Hugh, and I'm actually standing on my truth, and I have synchronicities that are quite unbelievable that run through my whole life. If I can share my name with you, I'll just let you proceed with the show, and anybody can come back to me after looking at things on the internet, and it's quite astounding. I've had UFO, paranormal, and near-death experiences, and I've already put the elites on notice that God has harmonics, which are sound waves. When they come, if you're in the right kind of heart-to-guide alignment, you'll be perfectly fine. But if you're an elite, you can be sitting on your yacht over in the Mediterranean. You may be sipping a pina colada, and you'll spontaneously combust or explode. The same thing if you're in an underground bunker somewhere, because God's harmonics go where God wants them to go. You can save your life and live a little longer if you start doing the right thing and caring and sharing with people. But somebody said, aren't you afraid of retribution? I said, retribution for what? I didn't do anything wrong. They did. The fear goes on them now. So if one takes me out with a hitman, I'll eat the hitman's brains out from the spirit world. Be quite painful. I'll be a little more gentle on him than the guy.
Oh, I love it, Hugh. I love it. Yeah, that's exactly right. There is nowhere to hide in the consciousness. This whole thing of thinking that somehow you can keep a secret. Sorry, the universe is one, and like the song says, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Santa Claus is here.
Well, I'm working on bringing in a whole new paradigm for mankind, bringing spirituality into global economics and combining it with unconditional love, making everything transparent, ethical, legal, moral, and forcing companies to be more responsible for their employees, their customers, the environment, and the community. And as people wake up and understand that election day is not just certain days, but every day you buy a product, and when companies aren't being transparent and giving back and doing the right thing by the environment, I don't see them being around long in the future. And I have strategies to take the money away from the elites in the whole process of that. So I'll just share my name and let you go on with the show, but you can Google it and see various things on the Internet, including a copy of a letter from President Obama to me related to the economy, which I responded to and followed up numerous times without one word back from the administration. In my response, I pointed out that I have no-risk strategies that are actually a strategic, intelligent enhancement that will allow any business at will the opportunity to expand and diversify to an unlimited degree in any field and create jobs and opportunities at the same time. Again, it's totally transparent and ethical. Do you suppose that's why I'm not hearing back from Washington?
Oh, potentially. The likelihood is pretty high.
It's Hugh, H-U-G-H, and the last name is Traulsen, T like Tom, R-A-U-L-S-E-N like Nancy. And back in 1983, I was also written up in a front-page Wall Street Journal article where I exposed a former federal government bureaucrat for fraud who I believe was a CIA operative, and indirectly it eventually led to the resignation of Jim Wright from Speaker of the House in shame, the third highest office in the country. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, but you can check some of the things out on the Internet. And I don't use email, but if you save my number, and I've interacted with some people over in Australia in the past, too, on Oculus Radio. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I think they took it off Blog Talk. But the shows in the archives where Laura Magdalene Eisenhower came on, too, on a show, and she channels her grandfather, President Eisenhower.
Oh, and to let you know, we're waiting for word from Laura to get her on to Outside the Box or Cosmic Blueprints here on Freedom Reigns. And I'll definitely keep that in mind with you. And are you on Skype?
No, I don't use any of the technologies. I'm totally information-oriented. I have a self-taught expertise of what I term creative utilization of information, and it takes away from my creativity to play with a keyboard all day. So I have only a web browser and my cell phone. I constantly scan the Internet. If I have to get an email done, I'll ask somebody to do it for me, but I prefer not to do that. I mean, once I'm fully resourced and empowered, I'll probably burn out about 8 or 9 secretaries. I don't think one can take more than an hour at a time with me with what I'm looking to roll out, one opportunity after another, just to bless people and empower them.
Perfect. No, I'll definitely, your number's there on the board. I'll make a note of it, and once we hear from Laura, whatever, I'll give you a shout and see what we can do about hooking everybody up there.
Yeah, you can call me yourself, too, because I have some other contacts and other people that may be of interest to you, for not only guests, just to be aware of.
Excellent.
Excellent. Hugh, I thank you for calling in. I've heard you before. I believe you've called into one of our Truth Connection shows.
Yes, I have also a business partner who's a wonderful human being. I'll give his site out, too. It's attractingabetterlife.com, and he's a true American. Yes, all one word, attractingabetterlife.com, and he has a blog talk show, too, Focused Change. And you were touching on indigenous peoples before, too. I'm interacting with a Lakota Indian from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and we're just rooting out the corruption that has been going on there. I'm going to ripple that out across the country and around the world eventually. And I've attempted to interact with Kevin Annett in the past, but he's just too busy to pick up on me. But I have some stuff sitting in the White House looking to be unwound, and it goes right back to the Jesuits, too. So. Okay.
Well, definitely I'll make an effort to get the information to Kevin. I'm in direct contact with him all the time, so I'll pass along your number and name and let him know that
he knows that. I'll speak with you when you have the time and fill you in exactly on what this is, because I have shocking things that will really wake people up, and all I'm looking to do, I basically put it this way for people: you have to get out of your head and into your heart, align your part with the Creator, whoever you feel that may be. I personally have a Christ consciousness, but ask for divine guidance on a daily basis to help you fulfill your mission. You may never know what it is, but just ask for that divine guidance daily. And the other big things that people don't do or aren't aware of is to always be in gratitude, no matter what your circumstances. They may be horrible at times, but that may be because of karma, or you have to learn some lessons. And then finally, to always take actions. Don't talk about things, but take those actions, because that's where you truly learn from to help yourself and help others, and especially those who can't help themselves.
Yeah, totally agree. Follow your nose, follow your heart. And that is the true consciousness, the true Christ consciousness, and that's exactly what I do every day. And I just do. That's all. You know, but,
well, a very Merry Christmas to all. Let you continue with the show, and thank you for the time.
Well, thanks, Hugh, and I will definitely be in touch, and I'm sure Santo or Cindy and Kevin and a few others will be in touch with you as well. Thank you so much.
Take
Same
care.
to
God
you,
bless.
Hugh. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
There you go. Santo, you there?
Beautiful, beautiful. Have you got another call?
We did, and they fell off, and they came back on, and they fell off again. So carry on. We got about 35 minutes left here, so yeah, we got still got plenty of time if they call back in.
Beautiful. Well, I was saying that whether you belong to any church and you hide behind the veneer of I'm a Jehovah's Witness or I'm a Pentecostal, this is very, very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous to hide behind these veneers, these clubs, because soul work has to be done from within. And what I'm sharing today, if it might be first-time listeners might be sort of thrown in the deep end here, but this is how what I'm explaining with this astrotheology is how people used to think. They knew this stuff. We've lost it, and this is what it means. This is what it means in the scriptures where God says to the children of Israel that they had forgotten the law of God. The law of God is the law of upstairs, as above, so below. It's in the stars. I'm going to show that today. I'm going to prove it. I'll show you where the name of God is hiding in the constellations. It's just beautiful, exquisite wisdom, and they're hiding this, and they've turned these glorious documents of pure science. They've turned them into literal stories, which gives them excuse to divide and conquer, because then you can have your literal version of what the Bible says, and then there's another infinity of versions. Whereas there's only one way that you can understand and explain every scripture that there is. There's one key. There's only one key. And the key is astrotheological and astrological. And this is why they've made a literal version of these documents and hidden the true story, the esoteric story of these documents and legends and gospel. Beautiful books, beautiful works. But what they knew was that the star, as I was saying, the Pleiades are the seven sisters that Aaron officiates at his altar. And you see, Aaron is the one that makes the golden bull in the first place, right? Moses blows the ram's horn, his younger brother. And they're both children of Levi, because they're Levites, you see, of the priestly class. And who would Levi be? Levi's one of the twins. Gemini, the sign before. Simeon and Levi were the two twins. You see, Israel, the 12 children, two of them, these were twins. Levi is one of the twins. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You see, so Levi, which would be, of course, Pollux, and Catholic would be Simeon, because you see, Pollux is the Zeus's divine immortal son, you see. So Levi would be the one that would generate the the priest line, you see, of Israel. All Levites were to be priests, set apart. They were set apart in Israel. And this would be Moses, there you go, officiating at the altar with his 7 candles. Aldebaran, the red star, the eye of the bull, elder brother Aaron. And this is the story that is in our stars. But going back to the Christmas one, Jesus is born on the 25th of December for that reason. Because the Son is born, and at that moment, that second, at midnight on the 24th, the astronomers knew that was the actual point when on the horizon the Sun would appear to move and go back upward. And so that was the moment he was born of a virgin, Virgo, on the ascendant. And you see, this is why you always see, you'll see a goat, or you'll see a little horse, a little colt, by the manger, because Capricorn is the goat and Sagittarius, which is the 21st of December, is the little horse. And you might see your donkeys, of course, because they are up there in the manger. When you look up, you got to look up. But what is really going on is this. Sirius, directly above your head, is when the Sun finally gets to the top of the mountain on June the 21st, the longest day of the year. When it finally gets there, it is about to conjunct with Sirius. Because now the Sun is in Cancer, and that's where Sirius is. And it's actually conjuncting physically with Sirius. So there's Sirius and our Sun together, and you won't see Sirius for 72 days. Because that's the amount of time that you do not see stars once they disappear in the west. When they disappear in the west, you won't see them for 72 days. And then 72 days later, you look to the east, and you will see them rising, just before the sun rises. They rise, heliacally. So that's the number 72 again. I'll get back to that. But on Christmas Eve tonight, when you go out and you look up and you see the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, she is 180 degrees opposed from Jesus. This is an opposition. So she's in fact inviting her Son to climb up the mountain to her. And she's saying, come up to Mama. Come up and conjunct with me. This is why you always hear in the Gospel about the Saviour having relations with his mother, you see. Nimrod was the husband and son of Semiramis, and Jesus is often portrayed in the same way, because it's talking about science. It's not it's not incest, you see. And this is why churchgoers shun when you say that, because they think you're relating to a literal scene, a real historical scene, which is not at all true, and that is the deceit of Rome. They invented this, you see, to corrupt people's minds and mislead them from the true Saviour, the Saviour within, the Christ that dwelleth in you, as the Apostle Paul put it. That's the true Saviour, and that story I have told, how we raised the Christ from Bethlehem, the solar plexus, and how I've explained how the Bible is dealing in biochemistry and the science of salvation, because it's teaching that when the moon, which is Mary, when she transits the sun sign that you were born under, for instance, right now the moon is in Taurus, That's where she exalts, by the way. This is a very, very powerful... This moon with Jupiter, this is very powerful. You know, she's in Taurus, and that's where she exalts, and that's where they're having sex right now, in their conjunction. But when the moon transits your sun sign, she generates a psycho-physical seed in the solar plexus. And if you look up that seed, it's the oil that's in the cerebrospinal system. And if you raise it up the spine and it returns to the optic thalamus and ignites the optic thalamus, the light of God, which is called the light of God, the Lamb or the lamp that lighteth the temple. You see, and once that happens, our dormant brain cells are reactivated, and that's called raising the Christ. That's the Christ that they do not want us to get to know, because they're teaching a vicarious salvation, which is simply ridiculous. It's simply trying to make Santa Claus be literal, and Santa Claus it equates with all that sort of nonsense, basically. And the true story is more beautiful than this, more beautiful than they can ever imagine. But they do not have the independent thinking to be able to conceive of it, because their minds have been taken by their churches. Their minds are on loan to the churches, and the churches are harvesting their minds. All churchgoers, Jehovah's Witnesses, the lot of them, because they believe in vicarious salvation. It's so childish, it's kindergarten. And what they hide is this beautiful science. In Ezekiel and Revelation, it talks about Jehovah, and Jehovah has 4 faces: the face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of an eagle, and the face of a bull. And this is the cherubim, or the cherubim. Do you know the correct... I keep getting confused with cherubim and cherubim. Can you correct me, Kate? You'd know.
Oh, that cherubim works either or. Again, because the CH you can make it a ch sound or a cuss sound. So cherubim, I don't really cherubim at all.
I don't cherubim at all. But they're also, as I've explained in my presentations, they are also the cerebrum. It's the cerebrum, the Aries brain, the higher brain. The cerebellum is the lower brain. And it's the Ark of the Covenant. And this is why the cerebrum are the cherubim which Moses put on the Ark of the Covenant, that cover over the Ark. And that's the cerebellum, you see. And the cherubim also equate to Sarah Abram. Sarah and Abram, the ram. You see, because remember, Abram killed the ram that was caught in the thicket. Well, when you look at the cherubim and you realize what they're talking about the fixed signs of the zodiac, the Mazzaroth, that Job was instructed to get to know. Can you tell forth Mazzaroth, Job? Can you see the stars that I've made? And can you tell forth the time of Orion and the Pleiades and Ursa Major? These are actually constellations mentioned in Job. You know, I've often spoken to churchgoers at Pentecostal when I was street performing about a year ago, and I was talking about. I asked him what sign his son was in, and he said, "Oh no, I'm a born again Christian. I don't believe in that shit." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, God does. He put it's in the Bible." And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah. Job 38:32. Check it out when you get home." And it's called the Mazzaroth. And he had his smartphone on with him, so he said, "Oh, I'll check that right now." And he did. And he goes, "Oh yeah, Job 38:32. Can thou tell forth Mazzaroth?" Huh. All right, well, I'll check this out when I get home then, won't I? Well, I don't know whether he did or whether he didn't, but if he didn't, he's going to miss out. He will miss out on receiving. And this is what they're hiding. When you look at Taurus, let's have a look at these cherubim, shall we? Let's have a look at these 4 signs, the eagle. And Jehovah's Witnesses will tell you, oh yes, the eagle stands for wisdom, one of God's principles. And the man stands for love. The bull stands for power, and the lion stands for justice. These are God's 4 attributes. And they've explained it away, and off they go to knock on people's doors, forevermore deceiving them. And what they don't know, and will never know, if they persist in their folly and deceit, is that these are the fixed signs of the zodiac. And how do we know this? Well, in the constellation of Taurus is the Hyades, where Aldebaran is, the eye of the bull. And you will see that it's in the shape of a V. Clearly. The Hyades is just simply a Roman V. The letter V, which corresponds with the Jewish Va, or Vau, in the Tetragrammaton Yod-He, Va-He. Directly opposite Taurus is Scorpio. Scorpio is in the letter J. When you look up, you notice it. And it also looks like a question mark. But more so, it looks like the letter J. And this is the Yod in the Tetragrammaton Yod-He, Va-He. So what we have is the Taurus-Scorpio axis. Let's dwell on this a little bit, because this makes up part of the name Jehovah in the heavens. You see, the English language is the language of angels. Angels are angles, of which there are 360 degrees. And angels are the Anglican or the English language. It's the language of angels. It's the language of astrology and theology. That's what it is, and it's the best one on the planet. Ba. And please, not to be mistaken with the legalese of the Ba Satanic Society that have destroyed this wisdom and have taught us to believe that that is what English it really is. Do you understand? Yeah. And so this act is very, very important, because Taurus is the rock. When God says, I am the rock, it is the bull, Taurus, the solid, fixed earth. And opposite that is Taurus. Now, Orion, remember, Orion is in Taurus. The deacon of Taurus, the most prominent one, which corresponds with the optic thalamus, where we must all go. We must all go to the optic thalamus. We all have to go to Orion. And that's why Amos says, in the book of Amos, it says, look at the 7 stars of Orion. And they are, we know the stars, Betelgeuse, Bellatrix, Rigel, Saiph, Mintalk and Minkara in the belt. Nonetheless, the 7 stars, look to them for salvation. It says that in Amos. Because, you see, in Scorpio is a fucus, where the sun is, just transited. The foot of a fucus, because the foot of a fucus is at one cross in the sky, where the ecliptic and the galactic plane cross, and Orion has his left arm extended upward, holding the other cross at the foot of Castor, one of the twins. And there's Orion, upstairs in Taurus, in the head. And Scorpio is part of the generative system at the bottom of the spine. So basically we're talking about going from the bottom of the spine to the top of the spine. The J is at the bottom of the spine. Scorpio is very, very important in theology, This is where God says, I am Jehovah, the God of armies, the phallic, because Mars also rules Scorpio. And that's where the male phallic is, isn't it? The male member. It's the generative system. And so this is where creation happens, or at least this is where Jehovah creates in a physical way. And this is where man also imitates, because we are made in the image of the Creator. We also pass on life through our generative system in the act of intercourse. And so this act is very important, this Jehovah axis, Taurus and Scorpio, because we've got to get our energy going from the sacrum to the heavens. The head is just a shortened version of heaven. Same root word. Heaved up. Heaved is shortened to head. And your foot, your heel is hell, down below. So if you want to live in hell, you go down there and you live down there. And you live down in the lower chakras, and you live down in Scorpio and in lust. Or you can go up to Orion. Orion's holding that cross up, and he's saying you've got to get crucified up here in the optic thalamus. And when you get crucified up here, because you can get crucified down there if you eat too much and drink too much and have too much sex and all of that overdoing and overindulging and earthy stuff and owning investment portfolios and having 3 jobs to pay the mortgage, the death pledge, etc., etc. If we are continuing to participate in this ownership scam and not going up to Orion, to the V in Jehovah as we progress in our evolution. And by the way, Taurus and Leo and Aquarius are the other 2 signs. And if you, I will release some images soon on my Facebook. Once my niece is able to, I've emailed to her this particular Jehovah thing, because this needs to get out there. It really needs to get out, folks. I'm going to post this on Facebook, and the images JHVH in the sky, in the fixed signs, which correspond with the cherubim of Ezekiel and Daniel and Revelation, which is said to be God, the fixed signs, which we are now... Yeah.
Wow. That sounds amazing. Can't wait to see that.
Healer on it. Go to a web browser if you're on the net, you must be, and pull up the Wheel of Fortune in the Rider-Waite tarot card, and have a look at Google Images and pull up the image of the Wheel of Fortune, key 10th card tarot.
Okay, you're okay. The Wheel of Fortune in the right away.
Rider-Waite is spelled R-I-D-R.
Wait. You're cutting out bad. In the R-A... Spell it again?
D-E-R. R-I-D-E-R.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Horse rider.
Mm-hmm.
And Waite is spelled W-A-I-T-E.
Okay. Images. No. I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, have a look at the wheel, and at the top right you will notice the swan, Cygnus, or the eagle, or... Okay?
Uh-huh.
You will see man, Aquarius.
That's Aquarius.
Yeah. And then go to the bottom of the card. To the left at the bottom you see Taurus, and then to the Leo.
Leo.
Yeah, and the Holy Scriptures. Now, let's go back to where it all starts at Jehovah, at the Yod, and you'll see around the wheel you'll see other symbols. This is the word power is at the top, R is at the A is at the right, left is at the left at the ascendant at 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
If you look at the wheel as a 12-hour.
Mhm.
So that spells tarot in one way, and then the opposite way it spells Torah.
Yes.
This is all that I want you to know, and that I'm a bustin' in a big, big way. Then your Hebrew character. Now these are what you just saw in the word tarot. That's the cardinal cross. It's the cardinal cross, and the O to the left, that's Aries, and then the R at the bottom, that's Cancer. Now this is opposite to how I do it in my graphs, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. The R at the that's Cancer. That's the cardinal sign of Cancer. Then the A is Libra, and the T at the top, that's Capricorn. Okay? Now, but you'll also see the cross-quarter days. The 1st of May, the 1st of August, the 1st of November, Halloween, and the 1st of February. These are the middle points. This is the middle of the seasons. So where Aquarius is, at the top left, that's the middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the middle of the fall. To the fall. Where Leo is, that's the middle of summer. And where Taurus is the bull, the middle of spring, the springtime. Now, when you go to the swan at the top, Cygnus, Scorpio, you will see that it corresponds to the cross-quarter day of Yod. That's Jehovah. You see, that's where Scorpio is the J. Mm-hmm. See, right away, they knew their science. And they knew that that's where Jehovah starts. That's where the tetragrammaton begins, in the testes, where Jehovah is phallic. That's the beginning journey. That's where the J is. And in fact, just look up, get your iPods out, point it to Scorpio, and you will see it's a J. Or you can look up Google images, just punch in Scorpio constellation, and you'll see J's everywhere. And in fact, in the Christian system, it corresponds to the disciple of Judas, the betrayer of the sun, because November, betrayal of the sun, and it must be sent down into hell to Sagittarius, the next sign in December, where the sun dies. And that's what we're celebrating this evening, Christmas. So Scorpio, there's the Yod, there's the J. Then when you go to Aquarius, that's the H. And you will see, if you pay attention, you will see an H in the Aquarius sign. Okay, it's in there, and you will see it in the article that I'll be publishing soon. And then you go over to and so there's the H, so Yod He, and then the vowel directly under the V. You see the bull, the high 80s, and then you go over to the last. And Leo also, when you turn it on its side, it looks like an H. Okay? So there's Jehovah, the tetragrammaton in the sky, the cherubim. And this is the beautiful system of as above, so below. And this is what they're hiding. When you look at the tarot card, you will see that there are 8. It's the 8-spoked wheel. That's the wheel that we crossed on the 21st of December 2012, where finally the sun now has entered the sign of Aquarius, which is opposite the sign of Leo, which is the golden age. We, as creators and manifestors, you have to use our Jehovah, our Scorpio, and our Taurus, and Leo the heart, and Aquarius the mind. You see, we need to use our 4 natures. The earth, our bodies, in service to truth. We must devote our lives to truth.
Santos, can you repeat that last part where you started with the earth and you dropped off?
Okay. We must devote our lives to Jehovah, the 4 elements. Our bodies, you see, the 4 signs of the zodiac correspond to Aquarius is the mind. Air is mental. It's the mind nature that we have. Scorpio equates to our emotional nature. Water. Our bodies are made of water. We are emotional. Taurus corresponds to our bodies, earth, our physical bodies. Aries corresponds to our spirit, our still, magnetic, silent, knowing being selves that we are, gods. The spirit is the stillness that Walter Russell spoke about, the omniscience that dwells inside of us. This is our nature. Aries represents that. And these four natures are Jehovah, the four elements. Mm-hmm. And we to create our four natures to Jehovah. That's what the stars are teaching us. As the stars go around and around, and the wheel of God, which is the will of God, you see, in the tarot card, tarot backwards is Torah. Torah is the law of God. And tarot is Torah. But it's also, rota is an anagram. Mm-hmm. You will see the word rota in that wheel. And that rota is the will. The will of God, or the will of God. And so we need to be true servants of God, of light. And we need to consecrate our lives to these elements so that we shall evolve and develop. And the Christian pedophile church are our right. This is our godship wanting to return. And they are persecuting us. They are implementing and perpetrating the Inquisition. I've exposed them in my videos. The bar are nothing but the Jesuit-run Inquisition. You pay indulgences when you pay any of their fines. Please, people, please do not go to their courts. Please, people, do not give them any more money. That's dismantled now with our love and forgiveness. We must not deal with them anymore.
Santo, I just want to jump in real quick. For anyone that thinks that they have to, all they're going to need to request at this point is a Wade hearing to verify their out-of-court identification. And once this document is made available to people, they have all the information they need to question any bar criminal who's trying to dupe them and deceive them out of money. Because the truth of the matter is, because all names that people carry are actually unlawful until deposited in a lawful repository, anyone claiming to use it, in the case of the system, they're actually committing kidnapping and a whole myriad of other things under United States Code 18, but they're committing fraud, and they're aiding and abetting fraud, and of course aiding and abetting someone to go into slavery and servitude. So there's I think about 100 years worth of sentencing there for anyone trying to do that. So just and specifically Americans, but this applies around the world because Black's Law is used by all bar members. So it is Black's Law. So it's actually a magic book. So ask for a Wade hearing, that you wish to have a Wade hearing before anything, and watch these guys run for the hills. Okay? That's all you need to do. Just ask for a Wade hearing to verify that their birth certificate is in fact a lawful document. And if it's not, then you can't do anything because you'd be committing fraud. And they're aiding and abetting. So just letting people know that.
Hey, Kate.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas indeed.
Absolutely. I'm happy to go over time, Kate, because I want you to talk a little bit more about how we pull the system right down, the system of lies and corruption and death and murder and sickness and rape and pillaging. It's over. It is absolutely over. Let us relentlessly spread the light and the love. It's over.
It's done. Again, knowledge is power, yeah? So what we're just trying to do with everyone is to give you enough power in that knowledge that you can do what you need to do. We've got a minute and a half here, Santo. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to say thanks to everyone tuned in. We're going to continue on past the on air, so it will be available in the recording once we go off the air. It takes about 5 minutes after that. So so we'll just carry on here a little bit. And are you on American Freedom Radio? That was what I wanted to ask you. Are you there tonight?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I won't be today and tomorrow. But I did want to say quickly before it finishes that we stay tuned because Kate was hinting to something big before at the start of the show. I am also privy to the same information as Kate. I have been for a week. We are on something real because we get this word out, and the system is over. It's for them, and it's paradise for us.
Yeah, that's why I thought it's kind of funny how all the timing works, that this little bit of information that we've put together, and I've just thrown it onto a piece of paper, has coincided with exactly what's happening, and I think it's quite wonderful, and what a coincidence, eh?
Good things all around, that's for sure. This is a beautiful present coming from both ends of the planet. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. What a beautiful Christmas, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness has arrived. We have busted, and I have endeavoured to bust every fiction there. I mean, the so-called justice system of.
Hey, Cindy, mute out because you're. Yeah. Well, I've got the lad in here too, so I'll bring his mic hot as well. Yeah. So if you're typing, just mute out because you were causing Santo to break up. So there you go. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Santo.
Yeah. What we're going to uncover is just a. And that is going to be the sealer. It's going to be the sealer. So I just hope that people just stay in tune and be active relentlessly, and publish and post.
Again, if but one awakens, and there's enough of us now that we just have to stand to post, and I'm not yielding. They can't do anything now. I already know that. The invisible wizard is watching. And I'm kind of one of the lucky ones now. I can see through the matrix. And I've pierced the veil, visually and sonically, and it's quite something to behold once you get there. We have the game, by the way. We have won. It's all good. So this whole house of cards comes crashing down over the coming days and weeks. And I'm just happy to be a little part of it, and being able to witness it from the seats that we're all witnessing it from. It's quite something, isn't it?
Oh, it's magical, and it's what we created. How did we create this? Well, we have desired this. We have turned desire into will and divine will. We have generated actions through our willing to have a better world, and we have used our divine creatorship in the correct way. And so we've arrived. We have declared that we know who we are, and once you know who you are, how can they reduce you back to the person you thought you were? By deceiving you into saying, "Oh, hang on, you're this name, see?" and point to a name. It says on this paper, that's you, and you need to pay this figure that's written on this piece of paper. Now, how is it that they actually can get away with that shit? I don't get it, but they've done it. They've got these bits of paper and a few badges and some tape, and they say, "Oh, I've got to pay this here. It's written here. See, there, it's written. Oh, it's there. It's on the paper," and we've been obliging.
Yeah, I was going to say I want to share something just to let people know. I texted my daughters earlier, and I got a text back from Emily, She's really the only contact I have because her sister, I don't know her phone number. But anyway, just a note that I got from her. It was just, I responded a couple of times. She sent this back. So this is how important this gift is. I miss who you used to be before all of this. I hope you have a happy and warm holiday season. And I responded to her, still the same, kiddo. Just love more is all. And that love is for everyone. Been a long time since we've chatted, so not had a chance to share it. I gave you my word that I will wait for you and Hillary to call me. I wait. All good, kiddo. Love works that way. Soon you'll see what I've done for you and everyone. All the world's a stage and I'm not an extra here. You'll see. Love you. And that applies for all of us, guys. And,
that was beautiful.
You know. So, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, let's keep it coming. I want to expand on astrotheology and our true theology, because in future shows, folks. So stay tuned, because I will be busting some more. I've got so many more notes, but I don't want to go into other tangents. But that was basically the Christmas story busted. That was basically the Christmas story busted. And so I'll keep it simple, and then I've got tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff. They're coming. Yeah,
no doubt. Just letting, I mentioned that the lad, 1984 called in, so if you're there, if you want to say something while we're on the recording, go ahead.
Yeah, Lad messaged me and said he was just listening in, but yeah, Lad, come on, say something if you need to or want to.
Oh, he's just being shy.
Never.
Yeah, I know, that was the sarcasm. But, yeah, not sure about what kind of show I'm going to do Wednesday, but I've a funny feeling that there's going to be a lot of ripples in the coming hours, because it's already into the ether, and that's why and thank you. I wanted to be able to read the more final document tonight to put that out there so that people can be aware of it. Oh, yeah. I don't know who that would be, but whatever. It's not for me. You guys there?
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
I have to mute out because the phone's going off.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Santo, you're going to continue on with the astrotheology?
Actually, you know what I'll do, Cindy? I'll send you the document that I sent my niece, because you will enjoy it, and you probably might know how to slap it together real quick and get it out there.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead, send it to me.
Right now as we speak.
All right. I might be able to take care of that while you're still on the air and have it ready to post when we get done.
Yeah. There it goes.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of stuff traveling through the ether tonight. Look at Santa's sleigh going around the world.
Bells will be ringing. Oh, yes.
Yep. Can you sing? Do us a song. That was just...
Yeah, would you?
Oh, my gosh.
Careful with your mic, Santo. You're overpowering it and you're cutting out all the time. You gotta be mindful of that, because it's... everyone wants to hear what you have to say, right? So, yeah, but go ahead, Cindy.
Oh, well, I have no idea what to sing, and my voice is about shot anyways.
Yes, fair enough.
Help me out. Let me do a little thinking on that, because I really don't know all the words to that song. It just popped in my head.
Imagine that.
Yes, imagine that. Imagine that. Oh, holy night, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll be doing a bit of playing and singing tomorrow. Heading down to a friend's and my dog. I got to see my 3 dogs yesterday. I stopped by and dropped off some white sage and sweetgrass for Sue. Yeah, she wasn't overly. I don't think she was overly impressed to see me, but that's okay. Just needed to put the aura back there, and my puppies were. I haven't seen them since July, so they were very excited to see me. I only saw them for about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, so it's all good. It's a good Christmas.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I also am. We are all also suffering like yourself, Kate, because we've all got family that are still in unconscious mode. Last night we got together at my niece's Sonia's to celebrate Christmas Eve, and her mum, which is my favourite sister, Angela, was there, but she texted Sonia and said, "Please don't, talk about nutrition and spirituality, because apparently last time it upset her husband, Steve." Now, I love Steve, and he's a good man, but, he can't tolerate any of this spiritual stuff. And it's so sad, because it's Steve himself that he's hurting, and as much as we love him, and Sonia and the enlightened portion of my family who see his condition feel sorry for him, because he really, really thinks that he's in the right, and that, and that he doesn't understand that the governments have been corporatized. He doesn't understand that the churches have a veneer or a facade of helping, but they are really just institutions of violent abuse, mental, spiritual, and physical. And that's been proven over and over again. And we've got these, and it's awful. You see them, they're dead. They are dead. The dead bury the dead. That's what they are. And it's very, very sad. And what we must do now is spread the light, spread these documents and this truth that we are learning, and to kill this beast Goliath, so that we can wake up our sleeping relatives who are saying and doing these things and thinking and feeling these things about us, you see. Because the controllers of the media have painted themselves to be saintly and good and all for manipulation, and therefore people have bought into that. And once that disappears, because it will have to disappear, they will have to. They're over, Just with today's show, just today's show alone has shut up all the churches on the planet, and the bar, and Rome, and institutions. Just today's show, let alone what we can do in the future with more stuff.
Yeah, that's the power of the one in the ether, And by the way, Hugh, you probably already know, but your mic is wide open too. So, anybody wants to toss any comments in, we'll carry this on for a few more minutes anyway. Eh?
Yeah, well, we can just till we exhaust our thoughts. But I really do promise that I will do astrotheology, because I think I've neglected that a bit, and I've got so much stuff to share. We've got to get back to theology. We've got to get back to this science and get in sync with those stars. No seasons, not just the seasons when to plant and when to harvest and when to store, but the seasons inside, below, the seasons when to not participate in certain activities, and how to use and utilize the vital energies so that we can return to heaven and live unitedly. Because the alternative is this duality, and it just doesn't serve us, because people who really believe in it so much that they go around stealing other people's possessions, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Orsinis and the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha,
the Medici.
Piles and piles of wealth, while many of us are starving, because they're looking good. They want to look good. Hey, we look good with all this wealth, and that's what we want to do. And they smoke their Cubans and drink champagne and eat caviar and have their highfalutin, parties at taxpayers' expense. and they're pirates. They run out of the Vatican. They operate out of the Vatican with the Jesuit army, and they provide the services of terror and killing. Look what the Mossad did down at Sandy. What's it called? What was it called? Sandy Point.
Oh, Sandy Hook. That was all staged. There wasn't anybody hurt or killed in that at all. Same thing with Aurora. It's all getting uncovered. There, three actors now, shooters. But yeah, it's all staged. We got people working on it right now around the world, preempting, looking at all the movies and stuff, spotting the potentialities, like this whole Phoenix Black Christmas thing that they were going to try and plan to do tomorrow, but that's done because we just exposed it. And all you have to do is become aware of it, you see, because that's the rule of the consciousness. One becomes aware, if but one shall awaken. It kills everything. This is the one thing I'm trying to get across to people. They don't understand their true power. And, they're walking around willy-nilly under the control of others. And it's like, here I am watching all these gods with God power being controlled and manipulated, and they're messing with my universe. So I'm done with it. I'm calling everyone out on their shit. Everyone. Period. Done.
Yeah, it's over. In fact, I'm just looking at this this article, and I've got to send it off to you, Kate. This is too good. Did you get it, Cindy?
Yeah, Cindy. Oh no, she's not on here. She looks like she got bumped. I'm looking down the board, so.
Yeah.
Well, if she calls back in, great. If not, but Santo, I know there's going to be people chomping at the bit here to get this show. There's a lot of information that people want, and I'm going to go hell bent for leather to get that document up on Facebook and everywhere I can now. Anything you want to send to me, please, and I'll get it up on the boards. And let's get this viral, okay?
Rock and roll. Okay. Talk to you soon, Bob.
All right. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in to Syncretism with Santos Bonacci Monday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on Freedom Reigns Radio Blog Talk. And we'll catch you tomorrow night with Peter on his In the Spirit of Things, 7 to 9, and myself on Outside the Box, host Kate of Gaia, and we'll talk to you then. Much love to all, and have a great new sun birth. It's beautiful. Take care, all.